Have you guys heard of OTT? It's apparently a pretty big deal in the underground EDM scene that not many people seem to know about. In fact, it's even rumored that Daft Punk had a hand in its creation during the production of Random Access Memories. Yeah, okay, we all know what OTT is. Everyone does. Literally everyone. And if you don't, what, do you live under a rock or something? What the hell? All your favorite dubstep producers use it. Virtual Riot, Skrillex, Kyle, who's 12 but made that one summer hit that got millions of views while sounding generic as hell, while I can barely manage to get 10 views on a track that I poured my soul into. Fuck you, Kyle. I'm kidding. I'm sure Kyle's a wonderful person. I'm just jealous. Okay, if you don't know what OTT is, let's just make this fast. OTT stands for over the top, which is a type of compression native to the multiband dynamics compressor enabled in which utilizes both upwards and downwards compression simultaneously. To simplify how it works, it forces the sound to match a specific EQ curve akin to white noise, which has a perfectly flat EQ curve, and tries to keep things at a constant volume at the same time for as long as possible. Now that last bit is actually where things get a bit interesting. See, whenever you apply OTT onto something, it starts to sound a bit boxy. Kinda like this. And fading noise gets brought up to match the volume of the main body of the sound. This can create a sort of a tail, if you will, that wouldn't normally be heard. Normally this isn't super desirable. It can create some really odd artifacts that extend past the original sound's intended length, which could create issues for mixing later on. Lately, I've been seeing people on Twitter complaining that there's too much OTT and that it's only getting worse, and that we should move away from OTT to get a more natural sound. I'm gonna call these people the Amish of EDM. I like that process sound. It sounds clean, crisp, makes my ear holes happy. So instead, I'm gonna challenge that by diving into the extreme opposite of no OTT. Let's put 100 OTTs on something. That'll sound cool. Okay, after doing some tests, I can say that 100 OTTs don't exactly work in a musical way, like not how you would expect it to. If you expected it to work at all, for whatever reason. For starters, 100 OTTs is a lot of processing, and it'll really take a toll on your computer. Like, I'm running 32 gigs of RAM with a Ryzen 1700 18-core 16-thread processor at, I think, 3.2 gigahertz, and I can't get it to play normally in real time. Instead, I have to freeze the track so that I can hear how it should sound normally, and even then, it's weird. Looking at the spectrum, we can see what's happening, and I'll do my best to explain what I believe to be happening. Okay, so for starters, the sound is going through the OTTs individually, not all at once. It goes through one. That takes time to process, and then it moves to the next one. Normally this happens so quickly, you wouldn't notice it, and between multiple tracks and effects, most DAWs have a built-in track delay so that sounds will still play at the proper time even if one track goes through a lot more processing. But that track delay doesn't apply if all those effects are on the same track. Second, you need to know how multiband compressors tend to work, and need to understand what the term phase linear means, or linear phase. Imagine that instead of having one multiband compressor having the 3 different bands, instead you send a track signal to 3 separate channels, then EQ them to create the low, mid, high cutoffs. Because of EQ roll-offs, you'll get some conflicting frequencies that 2 different bands would be playing at the same time. Then throw on different compression values to boot. This is how nonlinear phase multiband compressors work. It creates this phasiness between the conflicting frequencies. Linear phase would simply mean that there wouldn't be any roll-off between the bands. There wouldn't be those conflicting frequencies causing them to phase. Now, OTT is not phase linear, meaning that it'll have that phasing happening every time it processes. Once or 5 times may not create much of an issue, but 100 of them, now we're getting into some major phasing. This is where the pitch dropping is coming from. You would get something similar if you put an actual phaser onto the track. or if you played a bunch of voices in unison, but had the phase randomness set to 0. Then there's the tail. You'll notice that the MIDI note isn't that long, but due to the massive amounts of upward compression, artifacting, and the sheer amount of OTT goodness, you get this stupid ass tail. And that's it. There's really nothing more to say about 100 OTTs. It does some kind of weird stuff, but it's nothing too crazy if you understand why things are happening. Honestly, I found this to be kind of disappointing, but then you might ask, why did I make this video then? Why did I spend all this time doing the research, writing the script, recording the video, editing this, just to tell you it's not that cool? Well, it's so I can plug my Twitch. Yeah, I stream. You should totally come check it out if I ever get back to doing it. It's been 3 weeks since my last stream. I'm consistent. Hey guys, thanks for sticking through this mess of a video. I had a lot of fun making it because the sound design really interested me. I love messing around with stupid shit. I might look into taking this a bit further by doing even more videos of 100 of a certain type of plugin. A big thanks to Andrew Huang for the inspiration from his video where he put 100 different effects on a piano. You will always be the boy. Anyways, be sure to sub, hit that bell so you can see the next monstrosity that I make, and check my other socials as I'm trying to be more active. I need Instagram to fix my account, but at least I use Twitter for everything it wasn't intended for, so you can always check that out. Anyways, peace!